Hello, listeners. Welcome to the AuthorHood Podcast. Today, our show is being graced by Ma'am Lizy, who's an aerospace engineer turned author. She has authored Hey You, a self-help book way different than the ones already in the market. Hello, Ma'am. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for inviting. It's a pleasure being here.
Ma'am, thank you so much for gracing us. So, how would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Oh my God, trust me, introducing oneself might be the very first or basic question that anybody would ask. And I can say that would be the toughest question for me ever. The reason
That's
being,
true. Introducing oneself can be the most tricky thing.
very tricky, trust me, because, if I can introduce myself, with my name, I'm Lizy Celestine. But does that define me? No. If I have to introduce myself with the job I do, am I the job? Does that define me? No. So introducing myself is like the most toughest thing of all. But if I have to tell you what I do, yes, I'm an author, and I'm also a counselor, and I'm a full-time entrepreneur. And most importantly, I can say that I'm a very humble daughter to my parents, and very blessed to be the mother for my 4 baby family. That's all I am.
That was so beautiful. I mean, the very line, a humble daughter to my parents. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am, because, there are a lot of instances when people generally ask me that you've already been successful, you're doing a lot of things. And, how is your relationship with your parents? Do they involve with your business, or do they involve with your day-to-day stuff? And most of them expect an answer no, because I'm an adult, I'm through and stuff like that. But trust me, the tiny secret is that I'm still scared of my parents. And every single thing I do take my mom's permission. In fact, I did do that, just half an hour before starting the podcast.
Okay.
Saying that, Mama, I'm going to do something like this. So every walk of my life, even though I'm away from them, I'm very far away from them, but I make sure that, they do have the updates of what I'm doing, what's going on with me, and I keep taking their suggestions, and I am bound by it, by their love and by their affection.
Beautiful. I mean, involvement is really a good thing, and it's required.
Because
you just said entrepreneur, then an author, and a counselor as well. How do you manage with all this?
Trust me, I can say that, managing different roles is a very tricky thing. It's something that everybody struggles day in, day out. I don't say that, I'm a master of all, that I can just manage or juggle things, effortlessly. No, I do have my problems, in making sure that, I do justice to all the roles that I play, because I play multiple roles. So, when it comes to my business, which is entirely education-based business, and I also teach, and at the same time, I also take counseling sessions, and I'm also into the social service, and at the same time, I do write, whenever I have time. So managing all of this, yes, it is very tricky, but the one formula that I really follow is that I actually give a specific day for each of my roles.
Okay.
So which I don't say that it's possible by everybody, because people do have 9-to-5 jobs and they have to work on it every single day. But as I'm an entrepreneur and I can decide on my own schedule, so what I do is I kind of try to give time to each of these roles that I play, one day at a time. That's how I'm managing it at the moment, rather than just, flushing all my tasks on one day and not being able to do justice to any of it. I usually take a day for each of it. If today I want to focus on counseling, then the whole day will be only sessions. If the other day, if it's my business, then I spend my whole day with that, So it depends. It depends on the requirement. I decide on the number of days that I have to work on that.
You are so much into passion and profession. both the things. They're running hand in hand for you. So, how closely do you think they're related? Passion, profession.
They are the same for me, because without having a passion for the work you do, I don't really think there is any point in you working. I understand
True.
that, work is something, that gives our bread and butter, that's our livelihood, we work to make our ends meet. But as long as you're not passionate about the work you do, it's just going to be mundane. I can say you are just a robot, going there just without your heart, just working it out and just earning your salary at the end of the month, and then trying to come back home and, trying to figure out what do I like most, should I go out for shopping or should I do this, should I do that?
Exactly.
But I say that your profession should be your passion. Even if you would have landed up in a job, that you don't really like, but I can always assure you that there can be something that you can always find in the work that you do that triggers your passion and that can make you feel like, you want to wake up every day in the morning and you look forward to the work you do. So passion and profession, they're not two separate things. Profession is not something you do from 9 to 5. And passion is not something that, you try to do after your work hours. But I say that both are the same and they should be the same. Otherwise, you're doing half of your life, half of your life running behind the profession that you don't like. And the rest of the half trying to find your passion and trying to fulfill your desires. I think it's going to be left undone. So passion and profession, for me, they should be the same.
That was some nice answer. So, yeah. Now, when you are an author, anything about your recent work?
My recent work is Hey You, We Need to Talk. So that is a self-help book. I don't even call it a self-help book because, it doesn't fit into the criteria of traditional self-help books that are written by many great authors or leaders. Okay, but mine is a book, that can just show you the lighter side of, every problem you face in life. It is not a to-do list, or a worksheet that tells you that wake up at 5 a.m., you're going to be doing great in your day, or, I don't give success mantras. I don't say that do this, you're going to be successful, do this, this is how you're going to be at the top of your scale. That's not what I say, because, we are people, who are not the, top 10 most successful people on earth, nor, we are, completely downtrodden, where we just make our ends meet with our labor. We are somewhere in between. So we work, we have jobs, we have education, we have families, we have jobs, and, we are somewhere in between. So I don't, talk in this book about how to be super successful, how to, make money in 10 days, this is not what I talk about. I just say that we all are living a mediocre life, a life which is not towards the complete top or not to the bottom. We're in the middle. So, we have difficulties, we have issues that we deal with every single day, but we don't talk about. We might come up with a failure, we might come across some success, somebody might say something to us, but, we don't generally talk about it to everyone else. We take it to ourselves, we start, doubting ourselves, we lose our self-confidence. We might, even when it comes to your relationships, your loved ones, there is a lot, that we go through because nothing is given to us beforehand, right? We are trying to build ourselves. So this book is all about, how to deal, with those insecurities, the lack of confidence, or when something comes up in life, that you feel that, oh my God, this is it. I don't think I can do anymore. Or, when there is a aha moment in your life that, okay, I think I've achieved something. How do we deal with ourselves, during this journey of life is what the book is about. And it is not a regular self-help book, where I give you worksheets, say that make a to-do list, write your top 10 priorities and, put a tick mark against each. Because, that is a mantra for already successful people, to organize or prioritize tasks. But when we are still in the journey,
Uh-huh.
when we are still in the journey, we have more setbacks, than success stories, I can say. So how to deal with those setbacks with a little bit of sarcasm and humor, that is what this is about.
Fine. So you are not burdening with some advice or something. You are just making them understand how they can go ahead with everything being involved.
Absolutely. There is no advice given, no matter what in this book, because trust me, I'm taking advices. And I believe we keep listening to those advices from our parents, from our husbands or wives or neighbors or anybody who's
everyone actually, everyone, yes.
All that they always do is give you
advice. True.
And the last thing I want to do is give an advice. The moment they open my book, I don't want them to do that. She sounds like my neighboring auntie who knows in my life. What to do. I really don't want readers to feel that, like, oh my God, this chapter sounds like, one of my colleagues speaking to me. Like, why don't you, just do this, do that, and let the team leader, just scale your life up, all these advices. Definitely. I'll only tell you how to laugh out your worries and how to make sure that, with simple steps, by, probably inculcating some sort of a self-confidence in you, or, understanding how to laugh your worries away so that you can move ahead, not be stagnant there worrying about something that happened. So that is how, this book is completely written.
Okay. Very, very great. And what made you choose this particular title, like, Hey You, We Need to Talk?
Because I wanted this book to be the book, where everybody feels that, this is their own book.
Okay.
I don't want this to be a regular book on the shelf, which talks to like millions of people in the world, and you are one among them reading. I wanted my reader to feel special. I wanted my reader to understand that, hey, we need to talk. I mean, you and me, we need to talk about your life, because your life is important. So, I wanted the personalization to be there, right in the title of my book, so that the reader will understand that, this is something, which is personally related to me. This is something where the author is directly speaking to me.
Yeah.
It's not where the author is speaking to millions of people in the world and I'm just one among them, just taking down notes on how to walk through this life just like everybody else, because everyone's story is different.
Yes.
And my book connects to different people of different ages, or different professions. It connects to every one of them in their own personalized way.
Okay.
Because the issue faced with day in and day out, irrespective of our professions, are the same. Insecurity, success, failure, love, relationship, money, everything, all these that we face day in, day out is the same for all of us. So this book talks to you specifically and personally. So hence the title, Hey You, We Need to Talk.
Beautiful. Like you already told about thing that we don't need from anyone is the advice. What exactly pushed you into writing this? Like maybe a personal experience with something?
Because I got bored, reading self-help books, that don't address my issues. I'm being very frank about it. I have been a very dedicated reader of self-help books from my childhood.
Okay.
Because, I wanted to shape up my life, I wanted to be a leader that I wanted to be. And I think from my first, book when I read, I was hardly in 8th standard.
Okay.
That is when I started reading my self-help. I kept on reading and reading, taking notes, and, I felt that most of them dictate your life, they tell you what to do, what not to do, what is right, what is wrong, but nobody tells us, like how to go through what we are going through. Nobody, no book addresses that, like, failures are okay, you don't have to worry about it. So, you might take, Ambani as your role model, and you might start working towards that. But trust me, I'll tell you, like, our life is not Ambani.
Quite true.
So you cannot copy their life.
Exactly.
Our life is our life. Their life is their life. So when you look up to somebody and then you think that, oh my God, this is how I want it to be. This is how I want to do, and then you start trying to copy them, and you try to, like, I mean, you basically mess with your own life because, your life is not aligned to the life that you are, of other
Of
person.
other people, yes.
Because all of us have got different lives. All of us have our own personal experiences. No two people in the whole world have the same thing in common. So why look at somebody and think you want to be them when instead you can be yourself?
And better than everyone else.
Absolutely. I mean, see, why do you want to fit in the crowd when you want to stand out?
Exactly.
You're not a carbon copy of somebody, thinking that, okay, my carbon copy is doing this, so I should match up to their level. No, you're yourself. You don't have to be like anybody else.
Exactly.
You can just be yourself, and that is what your identity is. Imagine having 100 Stonies, in our life. How do you feel like?
Pathetic.
It doesn't make sense, right? The only reason why a person is because of the individuality.
True.
I understand, there is, the thing of having a role model, having somebody to look up to. It's become very common these days that we even ask our, little children, who do you like the most? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be like? And then, we try to instill this idea in their mind that they have to be like somebody else,
yes.
to be recognized. Right? You got to be like the Tatas, you got to be like Ambani, you want to be like, you want to become a model, you might have to be like, Aishwarya Rai. We are not them and they are not us. And these little children grow up thinking that I have to be like somebody else, to be myself.
Because of all this, they end up being nobody.
Exactly. When we try to copy something, like, forget about whether you will match up to their carbon copy or not, but you will lose yourself in the process.
True.
Losing yourself is the worst thing that can happen.
Absolutely.
So I'm not against having a role model. I'm not against, looking up to somebody. I'm not saying that, like, we should not even treat these successful people or recognize them. Yes, you should recognize them. You should embrace their success. You should be happy about it. You should applaud it. But remember that, like, you are not them, and you don't have to be like them. The life that you have is completely different. So while you embrace their success, while you see how they are doing it, maybe you can just do something, that you feel you're good at, and give it your best shot at it, and and live your life to the fullest. Not trying to be like somebody, but trying to be yourself.
Trying to be yourself and enjoying it should be the thing.
Enjoying the moment of it, absolutely.
Sure. So, like, after all of it, is there any recent feedback you got from some reader that would, have brought in pride and satisfaction that, yes, I wrote this book and I'm really happy I did it?
Oh, yeah, right. There was, my students have actually organized a book club.
Okay.
And in the book club, one day they have decided to talk about my book, and they have given me the privilege of, being a guest.
Okay.
And that is where I have met youngsters, from across the country. And, they telling me how the book impacted them. There were a few, who read the chapter about true love, and they're like, I think after reading this, I really feel that, I shouldn't have, broken up with my like, I think I really want to get back to her because, I understand that, she is different, I'm different. Okay. And we both should embrace our differences and try to learn to be together. So, that's something that really made me feel that, okay, I mean, having one person say that is enough. I mean, I'm not only me, any, writer or author, they don't look for a mass change. They don't want their book to change the entire country altogether in one month. Having one life, that changes, or some chapter in that, if a reader can connect to it and that makes sense to them, that is it all. And there is another student, who told me that, like, I was having suicidal thoughts because of what I thought that not fit into this world.
Okay.
And I read this book, and then I felt that, like, I'm important and I'm precious. I don't have to be like everyone else. I don't have to fit in this society's so-called standards to prove myself. So I've decided to continue my life with it. And that was the moment where I felt, okay, this is it. My purpose is done.
True. Even there's a saying by Osho, even a single life, if it's getting transformed, changed, or anyways getting impacted by what you do, by what you say, that makes you done with your purpose.
Absolutely. Not even transformation, just a simple thought,
Thought.
that can come into their mind that, okay, I would have done it differently, is more than enough. And recently, I had an encounter with one of a prominent person who is, playing a very prominent role in a university.
Okay.
And he happened to read my book. And since I go to the university very frequently, he's somewhere in his free writing. And he loved the book, and he just calls me and tells me that, Lizy, you know what? If at all, I would have read this book somewhere around 30, 40 years ago, my marriage would have been completely different. My marriage life would have been completely different. So I'm like, oh my God, okay. So everybody connects to it. That's all I wanted. And when somebody like that says, my marriage could have been different. The way me and my wife, the way we mold a relationship, could have been completely different. Your book would have been there with us, 30, 40 years ago. And trust me, I'm not even born yet. So, when he said that, I felt like, this is all I wanted to, I wanted to hear. One person saying that something makes sense in me. That's all. What else do I do?
True. You have already had your moments of pride.
Yes, I did. I'm very satisfied about it. I've had my moments. Yes.
Beautiful. So, and reading, you said you have been reading the self-help books for a long time now.
Yes.
Is there any mix up of what you have read, or is it the complete different thing that you have jotted down?
My book is entirely, I don't really, and as far as my knowledge is concerned, I can say my knowledge is limited. But as far as my knowledge is concerned, I don't really think any of these chapters or any of topics that's spoken about, and the way I have written it down is not available in any other book. That is what is the review that I have received, from trusted sources, like editors, publishers, and people like that.
Okay.
So yes, I trust in what they say, and as a dedicated reader of self-help books, yes, even I can vouch for that it's entirely different from the contemporary self-help books
that are already there. So, when it comes to you, how often do you get to face anxiety and pressure, and all those workload issues, and how do you walk through them?
I face anxiety, pressure every single day, like everybody else. Because even I work, even I have an office where I have to show up in the morning, and I still take a role of a director in some places, a principal, or as an educator, running my own company. So every place where I go, yes, I do struggle, I do face anxiety, and every other and day out. The only way I manage, I can say that every time I face something like this, the only thing that comes to my mind is, should I let this particular moment or this particular thing to ruin the rest of my day, or should I walk past it? Is there anything I can do about what has already happened? Definitely no. Is there anything better I can do to reduce the damage? If there is something, yes, absolutely, I'll do something better. If there is nothing you can do about it, just accept what has happened. That's a part of your learning experience, and just go there. So the stress of today, might last for 5 minutes or 10 minutes when you're attending a meeting, when your progress is being reviewed, or when for somebody, when their boss calls up and questions them about what they're doing. But this stress, or whatever that you go through, the bad moment, you don't have to let them define your entire day. Usually what happens is, when somebody talks, when somebody shouts it out, or when somebody says that you're not performing well, when you get some sort of a negative feedback or negative vibe from somebody, trust me, you tend to pass it on to the other people. Your whole mood will be spoiled. You'll be in the bad mood that day. You'll keep shouting at everyone, even traffic can disturb our mood. And the entire day, you'll be cranky. You will be shouting at everything. You'll not be satisfied with anything that's going on. You can't enjoy even the best moments. So what I do for me is, whenever I encounter such situation, I only think about the situation as a situation and see what can be done to either make it better, or if there isn't anything that you can do about it, and if it is something that you have to accept it, learn from it, move on. Do not carry that negative vibe through the entire day, because that one single situation has got no power or no authority on your life to define the rest of your day. It can't affect you unless you let it. If you want to let that particular situation ruin your entire day, you can do it. But once you understand that that situation has got no control over your life, you can learn from it, you can accept it, or you can make the situation better, or do something that can reduce the damage. Take it as a learning experience and just move on.
True.
I feel no situation in your life, nothing in your life, has the power to control your life except you, until you give it up. Until you say that, oh my God, okay, I had a bad day, so I'm gonna have a bad day. So today is the worst day of my life. Until you give it up, I don't think any situation has control over you, has the power to control you.
Exactly. You use the word acceptance. That was the thing I was about to say. It has a great role to play. Acceptance. Until and unless one learns to accept, I don't think there is any positivity or anything we talk about that can come in. So, is there any situation in your life that you have accepted and you moved ahead?
Accepting and moving on is the key to live a peaceful life. You can't stop what is coming at you. If your boss decides to fire you, you can't stop it. And that doesn't mean that you're not fit anywhere else. Come on, there are millions of companies all over the world who are looking for a trusted employee. Right? Just because somebody says something to you doesn't mean that your life is over. That is just a phase. Or if at all somebody points out a mistake, that somebody tells me that, Lizy, whatever you have done here, I think, it's not correct. You could have done something better. If at all there is really something better that I could do, I'll accept it, because I'm not a master of all. Right? I'm not I'm not the best person in the world. Of course, I'm a human. I do make mistakes. So if there is something better I can do, I will obviously say, oh yes, I'm very sorry. I think I could have tried something better, and let me make it up. Let me do something better, and let me see how better can I transform. Just learn it, learn from your experience. Just learn and move on. But instead of learning, if you carry that as a baggage with you, like the way you just said, that particular person said something mean to me. That particular person said this to me. I'm not worth it. I'm not fit for the position. Trust me, you're gonna create a trauma which is not even needed in the first place. So you can just learn, accept, move on.
True.
Just don't stay there, because time flies. So you just don't want to stay in that moment which is already done.
So does the worries. Time flies, and the worries also do the same. They do go.
Yes.
What is that one bonus statement for the listeners that would go from you?
I can tell one thing to all my listeners, is that believe in yourself.
Okay.
Trust in your instinct. You don't have to live by the principles set by others. You know your life better than anybody else in the world, because nobody has lived your life. Your emotions, your problems, what you're going through, the pain, the distress, everything that's in your life, only you know it. So do not let anybody else tell you how to live your life. Everybody has got their own life, and I don't think you should be listening to all of those and try to build your life around the opinions of others. The more you start doing it, you will lose yourself in the process. And by the time you start realizing it, and you want to gain control over your life, I believe by that time it will be very too late. So believe in yourself, do what you feel is good for you. You know, do whatever you feel, like happy about. If today you want to do something that makes you really happy, just go for it and do it. You don't need 100 people to vouch for it. You want to go out and party today, just go do it. You want to go and do some yoga, just do it. You don't need someone to come down and tell you that, like, it's okay, you can do, or you don't need a circle of friends, to tell you that it's okay, let's go party today. You don't need all of that. You're very good on your own. When you have a social circle that supports you, that's the best thing I think you can ask for. But at moments, some moments, like, you are all by yourself, you're all alone. So at that time, the best person who can accompany you is yourself. So just do whatever makes you happy and live your life to the fullest. This is all I can say about it.
Amazing. And then the very first line you said is believe in yourself. And I really think that believing must come early, because believing in oneself, it's the last thing that comes in. Yes?
Exactly, yes. Because unless you see, some 10 or 20 successful attempts, you won't start believing in yourself. One failure, you will lose all your confidence. You'll be like, no, I'm not worth it.
That was some real good conversation. I mean, you are beautiful at words. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm really, really happy being in connect with you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I believe this is the best conversation that has ever happened.
Oh, that was some beautiful
and thank you for the opportunity.
compliment. Thank you, ma'am.